Peace, everyone. Welcome to Winning Wednesdays. Today is Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. We welcome everyone across YouTube, StreamYard, and X. So we welcome everyone across the different platforms. Every Wednesday at noon Eastern, we go live to discuss current events in the stock market. Today, I've got a couple interesting articles I wanted to discuss. I've seen on Yahoo Finance a couple interesting headlines so far today. So we're going to get into those shortly. And then I've got a couple articles from earlier this week I wanted to discuss. So we'll get into that shortly. But for the time being, while we wait for everyone to join in, let us know what city you're from. Let us know what city you're from. My name is Errol, and I host Winning Wednesdays every Wednesday at noon Eastern. All right. Okay, so I'm taking a look at the market right now. So far today, pretty green. Looks like a good day in the market so far today. Let's see here. Let me check my. I'm going to share my Google screen shortly, but let me just confirm what I see here in the market. I see the major indexes are green. Bitcoin currently at 112. Let's see what else we have here. Google. Okay, I want to talk about Google today. I saw Google jumped up a lot today. I've got an article from Yahoo Finance I wanted to share regarding Google. So that's on the schedule today. And what else do I see here? Ethereum currently at 44.79. Microsoft 505, Meta 736, Netflix 1214, Nvidia 171, Tesla 341. The SPY is currently at 642. The Nasdaq Triple Q at 569. Apple at 235, AMD 161, Amazon at 225. So that's where we currently stand as of 12:02 p.m. Eastern. I wanted to get right into it. Let me get right into it. Let me share my screen here. Let me share my Google screen here. What I'm going to search is first. I'm going to start out just with the basic stock market search here. Let's go to all here. Okay, so here are some of the headlines across the different platforms: Investors Business Daily, CNBC, Yahoo, Motley Fool, CNN as well. Okay, Alphabet, Apple surge. Okay, we're going to get into that. Let's see what else we have here. Dow, S&P, Nasdaq tumble as rising yields. Trump's tariffs. Okay, that was yesterday. All right, so that's what's going on in the market. What I want to do is look up this particular ticker right here, Google. Okay, you might have noticed Google jumped 8% today. Okay, that's not common for Google to jump 8% in one day. Google's currently sitting at 229.53, up $17 today. Okay, up 8% today. Let's check the 5-day. 5-day up 11%, or $23. 1 month up a lot. 1 month it's been up 17%, over 17%. $34. Okay, so that's where Google is the last 6 months, 36%, year to date, 20%. Okay, so why did Google jump so much today? Let's get into one of these articles here. Let's check the Motley Fool. Okay, why shares of Alphabet are soaring today? Let's get that out of the way. Okay, so a U.S. federal judge ruled in favor of Google in a major lawsuit between the large tech conglomerate and the U.S. Department of Justice. Both Class A and Class C shares of Alphabet popped about 8% as of 10:48 a.m. Eastern today, after a federal judge ruled that the conglomerate will not have to divest its massive Chrome search business. A big win for tech. In 2023, the U.S. Department of Justice filed a landmark lawsuit against Google for monopolistic practices. The search engine space, specifically related to its digital advertising practices. Last year, a federal judge sided with the DOJ and found that Google had run an illegal monopoly. The DOJ then requested that the judge require Google to divest its Chrome browser, a big driver of the company's search business that makes up more than half of the company's total revenue. While many believe this was unlikely to happen, a U.S. district judge made it official yesterday, ruling that Google will not have to divest Chrome. Furthermore, Google can keep paying large partners like Apple to feature it as its default search engine on web browsers like Safari. However, Meta also ruled that Google cannot propose exclusive contracts that prevent competitors from being able to fairly compete in the space. Okay, Google will also have to share some data that will supposedly help competitors get on more of an even playing field. This is a monster win for Cupertino and Google. It's a home run ruling that removes a huge overhang on the stock. Okay, so this is according to Motley Fool. It says a catalyst for the cheapest Mag 7 name. This year, Alphabet has traded at the cheapest valuation in the Mag 7, largely due to DOJ's lawsuit and other issues with the search business, including how AI chatbots might disrupt the business. But within the massive tech conglomerate are several incredibly fast-growing and strong businesses like Waymo, YouTube, Google Cloud, and even a chip business. Even after a nice move today, investors can still buy the stock. Should you buy stock in Alphabet right now? Before you put a single dollar into the stock market, consider this. The Motley Fool analyst team has just identified what they believe are 10 best stocks for investors. Okay, so you can go on to read this from the Motley Fool. I wanted to point out why Google jumped 8% today. So it's because this judge ruled that they will not have to divest one of their branches of their business. Okay, right here, CNBC, similar story. Alphabet stock pops 9% after Google avoids breakup in antitrust case. All right, so that's what's going on with Google today. This article says that means Google will still be able to pay Apple the billions of dollars it does to be the default search engine on iPhones. Google has been facing a rising competition in its core search business from the likes of Perplexity and OpenAI, but the company has so far fended off challenges with its advertising business still growing. Following today's announcement, we are increasingly constructive in the long-term durability of Google's search business and are raising our estimates accordingly. So they've got a price target of $245. Google is about $229 right now. All right, so you might have seen Google pop 8 or 9% today. So that's kind of uncommon for Google. Google is more of a stable company. So when I looked at the market this morning, I definitely saw that Google popped. All right, so that's what's going on with Google. Let's see what else. That's one of the headlines I saw this morning I wanted to share. Let's see here. I saw a couple other interesting articles that broke this morning. I want to share my screen here. I want to share my Yahoo Finance screen. Okay, so first headline on Yahoo Finance is Google. All right. Okay, you see Google CEO right there. Google soars with the worst case scenario off the table. Okay, so Google's looking good. Their CEO is looking good. All right. There's a couple other headlines. Here's one of them I wanted to mention. Job openings tumble more than expected amid lackluster hiring. That's one of them. Then I also saw this one's interesting here. American Bitcoin surges in Trump brothers' second listing this week. Pfizer defends COVID shot, says Trump deserves a Nobel. All right. Again, I believe next week actually Apple has their event on the 9th. How to watch Apple's announce of the iPhone 17. I believe they do that on September 9th, which is next Tuesday. Let's see what else headlines we have here. Fed announces October conference on payments innovation. But let's check out this article right here. Job openings tumble. Let's see. Let me pause this video. U.S. job U.S. job openings fell more than expected in July, and hiring was moderate, consistent with easing labor market conditions. Job openings, a measure of labor demand, dropped 176,000 to 7.181 million by the last day of July. The Labor Department Bureau of Labor Statistics said in its job openings and labor turnover survey on Wednesday. Hiring increased from 41,000 to 5.3 million in July. Layoffs rose 12,000 to 1.8 million. The labor market has slowed, with economists blaming President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs. Labor supply has also declined amid Trump's administration's immigration crackdown. All right, so this article was from Routers. Actually, it wasn't from Routers. Let's check where this is from. Yeah, well, actually, it was from Routers. Listed on Yahoo Finance. Fed Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell last month signaled a positive rate cut at the U.S. Central Bank's September 16th and 17th policy meeting. So for all those investors, this is another key date in September. September 16th and 17th, the Fed will meet to likely, hopefully, lower interest rates. So circle these two dates on your calendar, key dates later this month. All right, so that was one headline. Another headline I want to talk about, Yahoo Finance. I want to get into this article right here. American Bitcoin surges in Trump's brother's second listing this week. So let's see what's going on with the Trump brothers. Okay, let me pause the video right here. All right, American Bitcoin, a Bitcoin mining and treasury company backed by President Trump's son Eric and Donald Jr., listed on the Nasdaq on Wednesday morning under the ticker symbol ABTC. ABTC. So they just looks like they just went public. It's the second crypto venture listing on the Trump brothers this week. For the Trump brothers this week, our Nasdaq debut marks a historic milestone in bringing Bitcoin into the core of the U.S. capital markets and advancing our mission to make America the undisputed leader of the global Bitcoin economy. Eric Trump, an American Bitcoin's co-founder and chief strategy officer, said in a press release statement. First launched as a subsidiary of publicly traded Bitcoin mining firm Hut, American Bitcoin began trading at $6.90 per share through an all-stock merger with Gryphon Digital Mining. The stock surged as much as 90% in the first hour of trading before settling back. Okay, it was up over 40% by 11 a.m. New York time. Okay, currently at 919. Currently at 919. Ticker symbol ABTC. ABTC. American Bitcoin shareholders, including Eric Trump, his brother Donald Trump Jr., and Hut, own 98% of the company. Wow. By combining Bitcoin mining, opportunistic market purchases, and the backing of Hut 8's energy and digital infrastructure, we have created a vehicle designed to drive rapid, efficient Bitcoin per share growth. Bitcoin rose Wednesday morning to 111,500 per coin. It's up 19% year to date and has traded between 108 and 123 for the past 2 months. The listing kicks off the second major event for Trump brothers headline this week in bringing crypto to the capital markets. On Monday, the token for a crypto venture called World Liberty Financial, WLFI USD, which has ties to Donald Trump's family, listed on crypto exchanges. Trump's sons, Donald Jr. and Eric, as well as Barron, were all named initial co-founders of the project, though the president retired from the role of once taking office. Okay, check this. In exchange for a promotion, the Trump family, including the president, controlled under a quarter of all World Liberty tokens, 22.5 billion through a shell corporation known as DT Marks DeFi LLC. At current market prices, those holdings are worth 5 billion. Okay, 5 billion. Okay, so the article goes on, talks about some other holdings the Trump family has. This article was from earlier today, less than an hour ago. Okay, about 45 minutes ago. So, pretty new article on Yahoo Finance. Let's see what else was pretty interesting. Okay, this is another one interesting on Pfizer and COVID. I want to talk about, check this one out. Pfizer defends COVID shot, says Trump deserves Nobel Prize, from Bloomberg earlier today, about an hour ago. All right, let's see what this one says. Pfizer defended the research supporting its COVID vaccine in statement on its website in a direct response to a social media post by President Donald Trump over the weekend questioning whether drug companies were withholding information about the shots. The company is dedicated to continuing to provide clear, factual data to the public. Their CEO said in a statement, adding that data on Pfizer's COVID shot has been disclosed in more than 600 peer-reviewed publications. This guy praised Trump's handling of Operation Warp Speed, which spearheaded the development of COVID vaccines, saying the effort would typically be worthy of the Nobel Peace Prize given its significant impact. Vaccines have become a political flashpoint in recent years, with pundits questioning widely accepted evidence about their safety and efficiency. The Trump White House has amplified those concerns, particularly after appointing RFK Jr., a vocal vaccine critic, as the nation's top health official. The changes have forced vaccine manufacturers to defend their work as they try to hold on to waning public trust in their products. Okay, it's pretty ironic. Pretty ironic. Under Kennedy, U.S. health officials have dramatically scaled back the number of people who are eligible for COVID vaccines. Trump said in a post that while many think COVID vaccines are a miracle that saved millions of lives, others disagreed. The president added that Pfizer and others were keeping extraordinary information about the shots to themselves. The lack of transparency was destroying the CDC. Pfizer said it agrees with Trump's call for transparency. The CEO pointed out a website from the company that has research about its shots, adding that Pfizer plans to add more information and studies by the end of the month. All right, so you can continue to read this article on your own time from Yahoo Finance earlier today. Okay, so few interesting articles broke so far today. A few of them we just went over. A couple other ones. This one may be here. Tariffs were supposed to revive U.S. manufacturing. So far, they're having the opposite effect. Okay, this is an article from Investopedia 26 minutes ago. All right, so those are a couple of headlines from Yahoo Finance. You guys can check the rest of them out on your own time. Let's see what else we have here. Let's see what else you have here. Okay, actually, I want to read one more article. I want to go over this one here. I'm a shareholder in Apple. I want to see what's going on with Apple. How to watch Apple announce the iPhone 17. Let's see what's going on. If you hold Apple, if you hold one of the S&P tickers, you might want to pay attention to this article. I believe this event is next week. Apple is hosting its jaw-dropping hardware event on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. The company is expected to announce its iPhone 17 lineup, which could include a slimmer version as well as updates for the Apple Watch and AirPods. The keynote will take place at Apple Park in Cupertino, Viewers can tune into the live stream here. All right, so if you wanna watch, just go to Yahoo Finance and just click this here button, or watch it on Apple's website. As usual, TechCrunch will be covering the event, so stay tuned for news. So next Tuesday, Apple's event. There have been numerous rumors surrounding the upcoming iPhone lineup. Taking center stage is the rumored iPhone 17 Air, which could replace the Plus model and would be notably thinner than any previous iPhone model. Additionally, the iPhone 17 is expected to feature a slightly larger screen and 120 Hz display, a big boost from an existing 60 Hz. It's also speculated to include a 24 megapixel front camera. Okay, so they're updating the phone. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the article right there. So next week, Tuesday, this is another day to circle on your calendar. Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific. 1 p.m. Pacific, next Tuesday. All right, so that's a few of the headlines on Yahoo Finance. All right, so that's what's going on with Yahoo Finance. I want to share this article right here, but actually, before we get into that article, let's see. Yeah, before we get into that article, in terms of scheduling, tonight, the Black Business School, I believe the book club will be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That's tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We have the book club. Later this week on Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'll meet with the Wing Group. So if you're in the Wing Group or if you're considering joining the Wing Group, we will have our options study hall Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. What else do we have coming up? On Tuesday, this coming Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, I'll actually host a webinar at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to discuss how I built out my capital base. I just dropped the StreamYard link in the chat for anyone that's interested. So that's this coming Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll host a webinar live on YouTube talking about how I built my capital base. I'm actually going to have maybe a two-part series training. The first will be how I built my capital base, and then the second will be option selling 101. Okay, so that look for the details on the second training in the coming weeks, but I just dropped a link in the chat regarding the first training. All right, so that's what we got in terms of scheduling: book club, Win Group, and then training on next Tuesday. Okay, so that's what we have in terms of scheduling in the Black Business School coming up. What else do we have? Let me check my notes right here. All right, before we get into some of the other articles, I wanted to discuss this week's earnings. All right, earnings. There's a couple companies, notable companies that report this week. So let's go to X. So credit earnings whisperers for this graphic. So this is a look at this week's earnings. Market was closed back on Monday for the holiday. Yesterday, the most notable company, maybe Neil, yesterday before open. Dollar Tree, Macy's this morning. Later today, we have Salesforce reporting earnings, C3 AI reporting earnings. Who else? HP reporting earnings. Hewlett Packard Enterprise tomorrow morning. No real significant companies tomorrow morning. I wanted to point out tomorrow after close, we have Broadcom. Broadcom tomorrow after close. So the two I wanted to point out here are Salesforce and Broadcom. Salesforce later today and Broadcom tomorrow afternoon. So if you're a shareholder of any of these companies, just know that these companies will report this week. Okay, so we thank Credit Earnings Whisperers for this picture. That's what's going on in terms of earnings. That's what's going on in terms of earnings. Okay, all right, let's see. Let me stop sharing that. I want to share a couple articles that I saw earlier this week. One of them being Kraft Heinz. One of them being Kraft Heinz. Okay, so this is also from Yahoo Finance yesterday. Okay, Kraft Heinz undergoes a blockbuster merger after a decade of changing tastes. Let's see what's going on here. This article is from yesterday morning. Kraft Heinz is splitting into two companies a decade after a merger of the brands created one of the biggest food manufacturers on the planet. So this actually is kind of opposite of what we talked about with Google a little while ago. Google would not be splitting. Kraft Heinz will be splitting into two companies. Let's see here. One of the companies, currently called the Global Taste Elevation Corporation, will include brands such as all these brands. The other, currently called North American Grocer, will include these other brands. The official names of the two companies will be released later. Kraft Heinz said in May that it was conducting a strategic review of the company, signaling a potential split. Okay, so let me highlight that one sentence right there. Kraft Heinz said in May it was conducting a strategic review of the company. Okay, so that's a lesson for us business owners. If Kraft Heinz can conduct a strategic review of their company, we should be also conducting strategic reviews of our company. Okay, Kraft Heinz been around for a while. They're not going anywhere. They're in the S&P 500, one of the top 500 companies in the world. So we can study them and take lessons from them. They're conducting strategic reviews. We need to conduct strategic reviews. When the company formed in 2015, it wanted to capitalize on its massive scale, but shifting tastes complicated those plans with households seeking out healthier options. Kraft Heinz and other food producers have tried to follow these trends. In 2021, Kraft Heinz sold both its Planters Nuts business and its natural cheese business, vowing to reinvest the money into higher growth brands like P3 protein snacks. But the company continued to struggle. Kraft Heinz net revenue has fallen every year since 2020 when it saw a pandemic-related bump in sales. Kraft Heinz lowered its year sales and earnings guidance, citing weaker customer spending in the U.S. and impact of Trump's tariffs. The path to the merger of Kraft and Heinz began in 2013 when billionaire investor Warren Buffett teamed up with Brazilian investment capital firm Capital 3G Capital to buy H.E. Heinz. 3G was also behind the formation of Restaurant Brands International, a merger of Burger King, Tim Hortons, and Popeyes. Okay, the deal is intended to help Heinz, which was founded in 1869 in Pittsburgh, expand its sales of its condiments and sauces on grocery store shelves. Heinz new owners also set about cutting costs, laying off hundreds of workers within months. Okay, so Heinz is splitting into two. Kraft Heinz is splitting into two for any shareholder in Kraft Heinz. Just be aware. Buffett told CNBC Tuesday that he's disappointed that Kraft Heinz decided to go forward with the split, which will cost the company $300 million and take a year to complete. He's also frustrated that shareholders won't get a vote. Oh, that's okay. So that's a little bit surprising. They didn't vote on that. Berkshire has held onto its massive 27% Kraft Heinz stake, making it the company's largest shareholder, even as stock price fell roughly 70% since the merger. Buffett has acknowledged in the past that Berkshire overpaid for the investment. Wow. Berkshire took a 3.76 billion write down on the value of its stake in Kraft Heinz in the second quarter. It certainly didn't turn out to be the brilliant idea to put them together, but I don't think taking them apart will fix it, Buffett said. Okay, so Kraft Heinz is splitting into two. All right. Heinz shares fell nearly 7% Tuesday to close at 26.02 per share. Okay, so one of the largest food manufacturers is splitting into two. Okay, Kraft Heinz. Kraft Heinz is splitting into two. All right. That's what's going on with Kraft Heinz. There's a couple articles I want to discuss, but before we do that, let's take a quick look at the market right here. Let's take a live look at the market. Let's take a live look at the market. Okay, so here's a look at my trading view. Okay, we talked about Google right there, currently at 229, jumped 8%, almost 9% today. Bitcoin jumped up to 112. All the S&P, the Nasdaq, the entire market are all slightly green today. Amazon slightly green, Coinbase slightly green, Google a lot. Okay, SoFi, Mara, Microsoft are all slightly down. Netflix, Nvidia, Oklo, Palantir, Tesla, and TSM are all up. Tesla being up about 3.5%. Tesla is currently at 341. Okay, so that's a live look at TradingView. All right. Okay, I got a couple other articles I can go over. Let me check the comments. Let's see what we got in the comments. All right, peace to everyone that joined. Thanks for the support. I hope you find these meetings valuable. Florida in the building, Detroit, Metro Detroit in the building. Peace to everyone. Okay, peace to everyone across all the different platforms. All right, I want to share. Let me share my screen here. I want to take a look at current headlines on CNN Business. Let's see what's going on with CNN Business. All right, so this is CNN Business here. Let's see here. Okay, Powerball. Okay, Trump loses his tariff lawsuit. America may have to refund businesses more than 200 billion. Kraft Heinz is splitting into two. Here's an interesting one right here. Parental controls are coming to ChatGPT within the next month. For any of you Microsoft shareholders, might want to keep an eye on that. The battle for Pepsi's future has begun. Let's take a look at Pepsi. Pepsi is losing the soda wars to Coca-Cola. That's nothing new. But after it fell into third place behind, it fell into third place behind Dr. Pepper. A heavyweight activist investor said Tuesday the company needs a drastic shakeup. Okay, here's another business lesson for us. PepsiCo, another company, another top 500 company in the world. Okay, they need a drastic shakeup. Okay, so if one of the top 500 companies in the world needs a drastic shakeup, we need to review our business and ask ourselves if our businesses need a drastic shakeup. Okay, so we can take a lesson from Pepsi. Elliott Management said it built a massive $4 billion stake in Pepsi and wanted to work with the company to turn around its business. Pepsi finds itself at a critical inflection point. The company has an opportunity and an obligation to improve financial performance to regain its position as an industry leader. Okay, so if you're a Pepsi executive, how do you turn the company around? How do you go from third place to first place? Okay, you're behind Coke, you're behind Dr. Pepper. How do you get back into first place? What do you do to turn the company around? Pepsi, which owns Lay's, Doritos, Cheetos, Gatorade, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Quaker, and other brands, has slumped in recent years. The company's weakness has made it a target of investor scrutiny. Okay, the stock has dipped 50% over the last year. PepsiCo said it was open to activist involvement. Okay. Dr. Pepper overtook Pepsi as the second largest soda brand in 2024. Dr. Pepper has invested heavily in marketing during college football games and come up with novel flavors like strawberries cream to entice soda drinkers. Okay, Dr. Pepper is innovating. Dr. Pepper is investing in marketing. Pepsi, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Keep up? Are you going to do nothing? Will you innovate? Will you come up with new initiatives? Will you implement new initiatives? Or will you just continue to get your food cooked? Elliot said that Pepsi soda losses were self-inflicted and it has too many different brands. Okay, this is a potential problem right here. Frito-Lay was long a growth driver of Pepsi, but the company's snack division has also stumbled. Consumers, strained by rising prices, have been buying fewer chips and crackers at stores. Okay, so this guy's suggesting refranchising Pepsi's network of independent bottlers that purchase, like Coke has done. Okay, so this is another business lesson for us. If our competitors are doing something that's working, maybe we should copy doing that, right? If you're a business owner and you're doing something that's working, it's only a matter of time before your competitors copy what you're doing. Okay, if you're doing something that was working, it's only a matter of time before your competitors start doing the same thing. Okay, this guy's recommending Pepsi do something Coke has already been doing. All right, let's see what else. Companies are responding with a wave of mergers, acquisitions, and spin-offs. On Tuesday, okay, we just talked about Kraft. Okay, so this is what if you're a Pepsi holder, if you're an S&P holder, you might want to keep an eye on Pepsi. Okay, the battle for Pepsi's future has begun. All right, so Pepsi, gotta get your act together. Gotta get your act together. Okay, you fell into third place. Okay, long time second place. Now you're in third place. What are you gonna do to turn the ship around? What are you gonna do? Oh yeah, I want to talk about this article right here. ChatGPT, parental controls, and ChatGPT. Parental controls are coming to ChatGPT within the next month. OpenAI says. I think this is in response to a suicide that occurred recently. ChatGPT's parent company, OpenAI, says it plans to launch parental controls for its popular AI assistant within the next month, following allegations that it and other chatbots have contributed to self-harm or suicide among teens. The controls will include the option for parents to link their account with their teen's account, manage how ChatGPT responds to teen users, disable features like memory and chat history, and receive notifications of the system detects a moment of acute distress. These steps are only the beginning. We will continue learning and strengthening our approach, guided by experts with the goal of making ChatGPT as helpful as possible. The announcement comes after the parents of 16-year-old Adam Rain filed a lawsuit against OpenAI, alleging that ChatGPT advised the teenager on his suicide. Last year, a Florida mother sued chatbot platform Character.ai over its alleged role in her 14-year-old son's suicide. There have been growing concerns about users forming wow. There also have been growing concerns about users forming emotional chat attachments to ChatGPT. Okay, so ChatGPT must implement some of these parental controls. Looks like they're working on it. ChatGPT includes safeguards such as directing people to crisis helplines and referring to the real world's resources. Okay. OpenAI has been the center of the AI boom, with ChatGPT being one of the most widely used AI services with 700 million weekly active users. But it's been facing increased pressure to ensure the safety of its platform. Okay, so ChatGPT is implementing safeguards. OpenAI said it will roll out additional safety measures over the next 120 days. Okay, so that's what's going on with ChatGPT and OpenAI. Okay, this is from yesterday. Article on CNN Business from yesterday. All right. Okay, so this is another article I want to talk about. Gold prices. Gold has hit a record high. Expectations of a U.S. interest rate cut. Gold prices hits a new record high on weaker dollar and expectations of U.S. interest rate cut. This article is from yesterday. Gold still passed 3,500 per ounce to a record high Tuesday, as weaker dollar and mounting expectations of the Fed Reserve interest rate cut in September boosted the precious metals appeal. The price of gold hit 35.0850 per ounce. It's up 30% so far this year, more than 30% this year. Trump has criticized the Fed and his chair Jerome Powell for months for not lowering interest rates, and recently took aim at Powell over costly renovation. Traders currently pricing in a 90% chance of a quarter of a percent point Fed rate cut on September 17th. Okay, so the Fed meets the 16th and the 17th. They're going to announce the rate cut on the 17th. Rate cut expectations and worries over Fed's independence have weighed on the U.S. dollar. Long regarded as a dependable hedge against geopolitical and economic turmoil, gold has rallied to multiple record highs in 2025, drawing support from ongoing buying in central banks amid a move away from the U.S. dollar. Gold prices rose 27% last year and broke 3,000. Was that last sentence? Uncertainty around Trump's trade policy sent investors flocking to the safe haven asset. Gold's rally could extend to 3,600 and beyond by year-end if the Fed follows through with multiple rate cuts and if a Russia-Ukraine peace deal remains elusive. Investors are now looking forward to U.S. non-farm payroll data due Friday to determine the size of the expected rate cut later this month. The price of silver, little changed, $40 per ounce after hitting its record since September 2011. All right, so that's what's going on with gold. Record high. Record high for gold. Okay, I seen a similar headline on Yahoo Finance yesterday. Same headline on CNN Business. Okay, so that's what's going on. Any gold holders? Anyone own any gold? Any physical gold? Any gold ETFs? Any gold holders? Okay, what's going on with the gold? Anyone hold any gold? All right, let me share my screen, my Google screen here. New tab, share. Okay, I want to just search stock market news. Stock market news. Okay, like we talked about Google right there. Let's see what else we have. Dow falls ahead of key data. Alphabet, Apple surge. Al Jazeera says, as the U.S. stock market smashes records, some investors fear it's overpriced. Do you guys feel the market is overpriced? That was this headline right here. How to manage your portfolio in September, the worst month of the year for stocks, according to BNN and Bloomberg. 2 hours ago, stocks bonds rise as weak jobs bolster Fed bets. Okay, CNN from yesterday said stocks have literally never been this expensive. Let's check that one. Let's see, from 20 hours ago, the S&P has soared nearly 30% since its low point in April. Investors have cheered the index's ascent to record highs. Okay. Stocks had a shaky start to September as investors entered a historically poor month for the market while concerns linger about Trump's feud with the Federal Reserve and legal uncertainty. Stocks are coming off an impressive run. The Dow and S&P just recorded 4 consecutive months of gains. We are trading at extremes. If we're trading at all-time highs in that area, that is something to be concerned about. Legendary investor Warren Buffett's favorite market indicator, which compares a measure of the total value of the U.S. stock to the total value of U.S. economic growth, is also flashing a warning sign. The Buffett indicator is at 270%, a historical high level that signals the stock market might be strongly overvalued. Okay, how do you guys feel about that? Not all metrics indicate record high valuations. S&P's forward price to earnings ratio, a popular measure of valuation, is elevated but not at all-time highs. Meanwhile, investors who buy the S&P are increasingly betting on the success of a few enormous companies. Nvidia itself accounts for 8% of the S&P's market value. The S&P has declined in September in 6 of the past 10 years. Okay. Talked about gold. Okay, so that's a CNN business article headline from yesterday. All right, let's see here. Let me check some comments. Here. Andrea says the Ozempic effect for snacks. Okay, I think she was talking about Heinz, Kraft Heinz. Howard says Palantir CEO was also appointed by the Trump to be an Army commissioned officer without any military experience or training. What do you need training for? Andrea says I have GLTR. Is that a gold ETF? GLTR. GLTR. Let's look up GLTR. GLTR. GLTR is Physical Precious Metals Basket Shares ETF. Okay, currently at 150.98. Okay. So for precious metals, I have 2 physical silver coins. Okay. Howard says I have some gold ETF. I own some gold ETF. Okay. Yep. Crazy times. Yep. All right. Crazy times indeed. Let me pull up a couple other headlines and see if Business Insider has any interesting articles. Let's see here. Google doesn't have to sell Chrome. Okay, we talked about that one. Inside Amazon's hardcore culture reset. Let's see here. What else do they have here? Let me check this article. Let me see if I want to share this one here. Microsoft. Let's see if it'll give me access to reading it. Okay, let's talk about this. Let me share this screen here. This is an article from Business Insider. A former Microsoft worker has been job hunting for 9 months. He says it feels like companies are looking for Superman. All right, let's see what's going on here. Before he was fired last December, Modi Khan was earning a 6-figure salary as a cloud solution architect at Microsoft. 9 months into his job search, he's at risking losing his home. Wow. I had savings and I had depleted almost all of it. Khan said, who is in his 50s and lives in Texas. I'm in a very tight spot. A new job could stabilize his finances, but despite a 5-year run at Microsoft and his prior experience in the tech industry, even landing interviews has been challenging. Okay, let's pause right there. Okay, so this guy used to work for Microsoft, earning 6 figures. He lost his job. Now he's in a tight situation. Okay, so what's the lesson from that right there? What's the lesson from that right there? Is there even a lesson from that right there? Is there even a lesson from this guy? What can we learn from this guy? From this situation? What can we learn? Is there anything we can learn? It feels like recruiters are looking for Superman. Khan is among the thousands of Microsoft employees who've lost their jobs over the past year. In recent years, big tech firms, including Microsoft, Google, Meta, Amazon, have revamped their performance review and compensation systems to better reward top performers and weed out underperformers in pursuit of smaller, higher performing teams. What's the takeaway from that? What's the lesson from that? Is there a lesson from that? Is there a lesson in that? Alana says one source of income is a no. Okay, that's one. Yep. We should. Okay. Howard's talking about some crypto. Okay. Howard says, what should we expect in cryptocurrency or the upcoming expected government shutdown? What should we expect in cryptocurrency or the upcoming government shutdown? I'm not sure what to expect. I'm not sure what to expect. I haven't really looked into either of those too much. My psychology and my course of action stays the same. My course of action, my psychology always stays the same. I'm gonna buy regardless. If I buy regardless over the course of time, I'll be up. So I don't really let. That's me personally. I don't really let the news and threats of shutdown or no shutdown. I don't really get in. I don't really get caught up in the terrorists or the politics or the drama. I just keep buying. I just keep buying. Let's see. Lesson no. Andrea says no reliance on a job. Okay. No reliance on a job. Okay. Job could be a great wealth builder, right? Depending on how you use it. No reliance on the job. Okay. We need to update our skills. I was thinking we need to update our skills. We can't sit around waiting on HR to give us a raise, or can't sit around waiting on someone else to have our best interest in mind. I was just thinking update our skills regardless of the situation. Update your skills, network with people, consult with experts. What else? Innovate. If you're a business owner, think about new products and services. Think of ways to improve your products and services. Keep an eye on competitors, what's working for competitors. Maybe you mimic them. Maybe your competitors are mimicking you because what you're doing is working. So, a combination of all these things, I'd say that's the takeaway. Let's see what else. Okay, here's a key sentence right here. A Microsoft spokesperson previously told Business Insider that the company was focused on reducing management layers and streamlining processes. The cuts has also affected many individual contributor roles. Okay, Microsoft isn't alone. Okay, some of these other big companies are doing the same thing. Great flattening. Okay, great flattening. That's just fancy wording for restructuring or downsizing or layoffs. Great flattening. Okay, they control the narrative. They say great flattening. That's just fancy talk for restructuring, downsizing, and layoffs. Okay, look, I've been constantly applying and I've had interviews, but I've been turned down everywhere. Okay, I kind of went through the same thing in my past life. You know, send out 1,000 resumes, hear back from no one, get mad, send out another 1,000 resumes. Okay, we're not going to do that anymore. That model does not work. That model will not work in the future. Okay, so we need to start our own businesses, monetize whatever skills we have, scale our side hustle, uh, learn uh, learn ways we can monetize whatever interest we have. If you're a foodie, if you like traveling, if you're into music, if you're into art, whatever your interest is, look at ways to monetize those interests. Okay, we're not gonna sit around waiting on Microsoft to call us back. Okay, if anything, we own Microsoft, we own shares of Microsoft. We send Satya to work on our behalf. Okay, if anything. Okay, we don't work for Satya. We send Satya to work on our behalf. All right. So that's a lesson we can take from this article. Howard says multiple streams of income are a must. Yep. Yes, sir. Definitely. All right. So that's an article from Business Insider. You can check it out. I wanted to share it, not to diss this guy, but to discuss some lessons learned, discuss some takeaways we can have from that article. All right, let me check one more. Let me check one more financial resource. See if they have any interesting headlines here. Let me share. Let me share here. Share MSNBC. Let's see if MSNBC has any headlines. Okay, let me see. Go to the market section. Let me see if I can find the market section. Top stories. Here we go. Business, world culture, White House, something business. Okay, we talked about Trump's family. Trump's family public crypto launch fails to make a splash. This headline says the dwindling of America's middle class wasn't inevitable; it was a policy choice. Okay, so you're either going to be the have or have-nots if you know if things continue. Let's see what else we have. Trump's trade war is now having unexpected side effects for online shoppers. Okay, I thought they had a market section on MSNBC. Did I miss it? Congress, tech, science. I might have missed it. World, culture, Supreme Court, Congress. Okay, maybe I'm misremembering. I thought they had a market section. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so those are some of the headlines on MSNBC. All right. So today we discussed several articles, several financial news articles. Kraft Heinz talked about Pepsi. We talked about what's going on with Trump. We discussed that Business Insider regarding a former Microsoft employee. We talked about gold hitting an all-time high. We talked about Google, what's going on with Google. I'm looking at the market right now, mostly green. Bitcoin just fell back under 112, so it's at 111,800. Google at 229, up almost 9% or $18 today. Microsoft at 503, but Meta at 736, Netflix at 1213, Nvidia 170, Palantir 156, TSM at 230. Okay, so that's where we stand as of 12:59 p.m. Eastern. Again, my name is Errol. Every Wednesday we meet at 12 noon. We discuss current events in the financial markets, discuss earnings, discuss anything affecting the financial markets. We review headlines, anything making news that day or that week. We'll discuss. Sometimes we look up different tickers. We just want to stay in the know. We just want to stay in the know in the financial markets. Okay. All right, so it's about 1 p.m. Eastern. I will see you again next Wednesday. If I don't see you next Wednesday, just a reminder, I will have a training next Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Drop the link in the chat. One last thing, actually. One last thing. There is no link. There is no Zoom link for Wednesday's meetings. There's two channels I alternate going live on. I go live on the Black Boss channel, and I go live on the Financial Juneteenth YouTube channels. So just a reminder about what channels I go live on every week. I alternate going live on the Financial Juneteenth YouTube channel and the Black Boss YouTube channel. Okay, so there is no Zoom link. If you click on subscribe, you'll see me go live on those channels every week. Until next week, keep doing your thing, keep building out your wealth. I'll check you out next Wednesday.